When I heard this, I couldn't believe my ears. I hurriedly went back to the kitchen with my heart beating very fast. Femi just called me naive. Ha! At least his children will have a good mother. What business am I not supposed to be aware of? As this thought kept ringing in my head, I started to feel dizzy, and the next thing I knew, I fainted. When I woke up, I was on the bed. I turned left and saw my husband looking worried. He was on the phone, most likely speaking to the doctor. I could hear him say, "Nothing must happen to my child." Ha! What about me? I thought. I pretended to still be sleeping to hear the rest of the call, hoping to get some hints to help me understand what I heard today. But all he said were basic things about my health and that of the baby. I still could not stop thinking of the business I was not supposed to know about, but I was too tired to stay up thinking. Then I dozed off. When I woke up for the second time, it was almost midnight. I was really hungry, so I called on Femi. He looked really worried when he saw me and started to touch me, asking if I was okay. I looked at him and gave a fake faint smile, assuring him I was fine, but I really wasn't. How could I be fine when I did not know who I was dealing with? But then I pretended so he would not suspect a thing. Femi kept asking what happened and if I ate anything or drank anything that might have upset my body and made me faint. He asked if I was stressing too much and if I needed a living maid to help with the chores. I kept telling him I was fine, but in reality, I wasn't. I just needed to find out the truth about my husband and the life he had been living. It was obvious Femi was also cheating on me because what did he mean when he said the ladies they hang out with? It was clear he was still seeing other women while married to me. I was obviously the baby making machine. Thoughts of this made tears roll down my eyes. If not for poverty, I should still be in school studying to be a nurse like I've always wanted, have my own money and marry for love, not because I needed to help my family members and myself out of poverty. I cleaned my tears, closed my eyes and rubbed my stomach, thinking of ways to unlock the puzzle that is now my life. Online work. That is what he told me he was into. But from the conversation he had with his friend, it was obvious there is something more to this online work, and I need to find out fast. The next morning, I woke up with a headache. I looked beside me and Femi was not there. I checked my phone only to see a message from him that he had gone for a business meeting. I stood up to have my shower. I looked in the mirror and noticed eye bags underneath my eyes. I looked really stressed and worn out. I have to think of my unborn child. I have to pick myself up and figure out what the hell I'm doing with my life, I thought to myself. After my shower, I went downstairs to the kitchen to make something to eat. Then my friend Gracie called, and I responded faintly. She kept asking if I was okay as I sounded really tired over the phone. I kept telling her it was the baby making me tired, but she kept insisting my mood was off even for a pregnant woman. After insisting I was fine several times, I gave up. I started to cry because I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to talk to someone, and at this point, if that person was Gracie, I really did not mind. I told Gracie everything I heard, the conversation between Femi and his friend, and how I think my husband is cheating on me. I expected her to get angry and start drafting a plan for us to get to the bottom of things, but instead, she started laughing. What she said thereafter really shocked me. Ha! Is this what is making you angry and tired? Gracie said. I checked my phone to see if she was really the one I was talking to, the one I was pouring my heart to. She was the one on the phone. Next thing she said was that I was part of the lucky ones who found a rich husband to take care of me and my family. Yet I am there sneaking around looking for what is not looking for me. She told me to be happy with my position in life and stop sneaking around, and many girls would kill to be in my position, so why do I want to ruin what I already have? She also said I shouldn't mind if it was cheating or what it does for work. Instead, I should focus on myself and my unborn baby and enjoy my comfortable life because she would kill to be in my position. I thanked her for her advice and hung up the phone. I met Gracie in church while still working as a maid. We quickly became friends because we had so much in common, including being former housemates. She was my maid of honor at my wedding, and shortly after I got married, she also got married to her husband, who is a carpenter and could barely take care of her and her needs. So I understand what she was saying and where she was coming from. If she was in my position, she would have probably kept quiet. Maybe Gracie was right, I thought. I should count my blessing and mind my business. As far as it's providing for my needs, what more do I need? Besides, I need him to keep sending money to my family at home. I am pregnant and I need to focus on my unborn child and home. I decided to let go of what I had heard, take it as part of life, and move on. Life was going fine. I had given birth to my baby girl. Even though I was not okay with my husband cheating on me with other women or doing a business I knew nothing about, as far as my bills were paid, my baby provided for, and my family taken care of, I was okay with it. Until one afternoon, everything changed. I was just coming back from the market. As soon as I entered into the house, I could hear my husband screaming on the phone. As I moved closer, I could hear him say something about the authorities catching up with him and his friends. I was surprised and listened attentively. In his own words, he said, "Guy, we have to lay low. It remains small, make them catch us. After that $20 million that we scammed from our international link, maybe it's time to rest a bit, make them no catch us so." That is exactly what I heard Femi say. As soon as I heard this, I felt a strong urge to vomit. So my husband is a scammer? Or did I not hear properly? No wonder he keeps saying online work. So this is the online work. I quickly ran outside and pretended like I was just coming in so he would not notice that I had been in the house all the while he was screaming. As soon as I entered, I met him at the door. He greeted me and said he needed to catch up with his friends and would be back home for dinner. I smiled and said okay, telling him to drive safe. As soon as I heard him drive out, I immediately went to his office door to try and open it to see things for myself, but the door was locked and I did not know the passcode. I tried random numbers, but that did not work. I was disappointed. I went upstairs to my room. This time, I did not cry. I was done feeling sorry for myself. I needed to come up with a plan. I started to think of what to do. I needed the code before anything else. I needed to find a way to stash up cash. When he finally gets caught up with the authorities, my child and I would not suffer. For days, I kept pretending like I knew nothing while thinking of a way to get the passcode to that door so I could gain entry and know my next move. One night, Femi came home drunk and that was the perfect opportunity to get some information. As soon as he got to the sitting room, I noticed his drunken state and I pretended like I was taking him to the bedroom. But unknown to him, it was his office I took him to. Before I could say anything, he inputs the code and the door opened. I quickly memorized the code and put him on the couch so that he could sleep there. I even put a bottle of whiskey and half-filled cup on the table next to him. He would think he was drinking in his office after coming back home drunk. The next morning, I slept really well as I had gotten half of what I wanted. I had him sneak into bed to pretend he had been sleeping by me all the while, so I would not know he got home drunk, when in fact I knew everything that went down. I stood up to make breakfast for us and ate happily. A few days later, Femi traveled. According to him, he was traveling for a business meeting. While he was leaving, he carried two big suitcases, and I wondered where he was going and why he needed so much. But I did not bother him, and he did not tell me where he was going to. I only waited for him to be gone, and that was my time to snoop around. Hours after I was sure that he had left, I fed my baby and put her to sleep. I quickly went to Femi's office door and input the code. It worked. As soon as I entered, I could see scattered papers everywhere. I saw like 3 different laptops and 1 computer. This was my first time entering this room since I got to this house. I was surprised with how disarranged it looked. I turned on one of the laptops and smiled, remembering when Femi told his friend that I was naive. If only he knew I had attended Computer Training Institute for 3 months after secondary school. And the only reason I couldn't further my education was because my father had died. I quickly snapped out of my thought and started to go through the laptop. What I saw almost blinded my eyes. I saw transactions of scam linked to my husband and his group of friends. One even included an orphanage. Imagine stealing from innocent children. Ha! This Femi does not have a heart though. I married a heartless monster. I also saw an email from an anonymous sender telling him to lay low and hide for a few weeks as the authorities were closing in on them. So, that is why Femi decided to travel abruptly with so many things, leaving me and my child all alone. I was angry and started checking the drawers to see what I could find, and what I saw almost killed me. I saw a gun, and next to it were bundles of dollar notes. Is he a killer too? I did not dwell on my thought as all I could think about was the money. I knew the money was my ticket to freedom, so I quickly packed all I could find and ran to my room. That day was the day I started planning my exit. I ransacked the house that week and was able to find some property documents. I immediately contacted some guys I knew who wanted to buy electronics and gadgets and sold some valuables to them. Later that week, I sold 2 cars, and the next week after that, I packed my bag ready to leave. All the while, Femi and I were in contact. He was always calling to check on his child, but he had no idea of my plan to leave. I already knew the day he was set to return, and after selling all I could sell, including the house, I planned on leaving the day before he was supposed to get back. That morning, I woke up, had breakfast, fed my baby, and was set to leave. As I loaded my boxes into the taxi, all I could think about was how I got myself into this mess, but all I could care about was my child. As the taxi drove out of the estate, I saw Femi driving in. Unknown to me, Femi planned on coming the day before his supposed arrival to surprise me and the baby. As he drove past me, our eyes locked. He saw the boxes I had beside me and immediately knew I was leaving him for good. I was scared and thought that was it for me. As he struggled to make a U-turn as fast as he could to catch up with the taxi I was in, I heard the police sirens and their vehicle closing in on him. Apparently, they were hiding and waiting for his return. Before he could catch up with me, they intercepted him and he was dragged into their vehicle. I kissed my baby girl on the forehead with tears rolling down my cheek. The taxi driver asked me, "Madam, are you okay?" "Yes, I am," I responded with a smile on my face. Do you think Amina did the right thing by leaving her husband? Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so when I post another interesting story, you will be among the first to watch. Thank you and remain blessed.